Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar, the MIT NANDA webinar. I'm Ramesh Raskar, professor at MIT and director of Project NANDA. Today, we'll have Piyush Agrawal from Deloitte discussing how to use NANDA for finance and the challenges and opportunities of using a platform like NANDA. And then we'll also have Rob Lincourt, a scientist from Dell, talking about how we can use variations of DNS to build the NANDA index. Then we will have technology, research, and code updates from NANDA and extended team. We will see new demos of the NANDA index, new SDKs, new APIs that you can use, and also a quick summary of some of the research papers that are being published by the NANDA team. I should also remind you that there are many other resources available to you as part of this ecosystem. So I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough of some of the things you may want to explore. The very first thing is we would like you to go to projectnanda.org, and it has a very active GitHub page. It has all the information about Project Nanda, what we mean by the initial phases, and so on. We strongly encourage you to get started. We encourage you to look at the FAQ. For Project Nanda, and you will see that it talks about not just the immediate work, which is the stage one, which is foundation of the agentic web, which is index and onboarding and foundations and cross-platform work, how it bridges between A2A from Google, MCP from Anthropic, HTTPS, different SDKs and standards, which is what's happening in phase one of Project Nanda. But we are slowly moving to phase two, and leaders like Piyush Agrawal from Deloitte are working with us. The stage two is the agentic commerce. And this is where we talk about knowledge pricing, what happens when it's all about edge AI, where agents are running on mobile phones and laptops and edge devices. How do you deal with distributed intelligence? How do you do pricing, not just for money and data, but you also do pricing for intelligence. What should be some economic protocols? What are some resources for that, right? And then phase three is really the society of agents, which is, how do you do co-learning? How do agents work with each other? What does it to have collaborative learning? What does it mean to have collaborations across silos of organizations and data sets? And new types of inference across the network. So in that sense, the three phases are, the phase one is about, kind of the self, the agent self. The agentic commerce is between two agents. And then the agentic society is about, coordination among a community, a collective of agents. So kind of this self, peer, and collective is what we're talking about. And, we like to joke that the agentic web is like, a whole bunch of agents going on a road trip. So think of the first phase as, agents coming to a town and, getting their driver's license and passport and being able to communicate with others. Agent two is, finding a job and, being involved in their economic activities. And society is like the city, So you want to create a city of agents to get that going. So hopefully that mental model works. So that's one resource we encourage you to look at. As I said, our GitHub page is very active on this. So look at different ways to use different APIs, different SDKs and libraries that are out here. You can build your agents in a matter of seconds. We want you to go to join39.org. Here you can see a lot of agents out here. So, for example, Maria, one of our prolific contributor, is out here. You can chat with her agents. It's join39.org/chat/Maria. You can say, what do you do, Maria? And you can talk to her. You can all create your own agents in a matter of 30 seconds. And once you have done that, you can also look at their agent facts card, which is a JSON file. So this is Maria's agent. but talks about what its ID is, where it's hosted, what are the capabilities are, what are the skills of this agent, what are the evaluations, what's the telemetry, and so on. And you can take this agent facts card and you can go anywhere else. You don't have to stay on these platforms. The analogy is like creating a GoDaddy account, and GoDaddy will give you an instantaneous, a placeholder website, but you can go anywhere else and host your website. So we're giving you all this reference implementation to get going. Today we have the webinar, but in 2 weeks from today, we also have our big a 2-day summit at MIT on July 14th and July 15th. July 14th, we're focusing on Web3 and blockchain-based players in the agentic web. And July 15th, so that's July 14th. And then July 15th, we will have deep conversations with many world leaders, technology leaders, business leaders, policy leaders, talking about different aspects of the agentic web. So we strongly encourage you to come and join us on campus at MIT, July 14th and July 15th. If you're a startup, if you're a research project, if you're an academic, we also want you to apply to speak. We have slots for you. I believe the deadline is end of this week. So you should apply for that now. In addition, if you're a Web3 project, then you should go to an RFP for a Web3 quilt. This is a way for all the Web3 agents to work with each other, and you can submit your proposal for that as well. And I believe the deadline for that is also coming up very soon. So a lot of activities taking place July 14th and July 15th. As you can see, almost 300 people have already signed up to go for this event, and we're still 2 weeks out. So we expect hundreds of people to come for this event, and we'll probably close the registration very soon. So please make sure you sign up for that. If you're a researcher, you can also join NANDA writing group that I'm showing here. And by performing these few steps, you can join, become a contributor to research or for coding and so on. So with that, let me give you a quick overview of what we mean by the NANDA ecosystem. So I think the analogy would be, if you had landline phones in the phone system, that would be like fixed endpoints for agents. As companies have switchboards, because they don't want to expose all the phone numbers and all the employees within their companies, that's like agent stores running it behind their own firewall. And then finally, when you have mobile phones, you can imagine this is more like edge AI, and the mobile agents will have their own endpoints that are shifting all the time. So if I go from here to Singapore, the endpoint for your mobile phone changes. So if you're to call my phone, the phone carrier has to worry about updating the location of my phone so that my phone rings in Singapore, although I'm not here in Boston. And so the idea behind the first phase of Project NANDA is the registry and index and foundations. So it's a quilt-like registry model. Think of that as effectively two different parts. There's an index, and then there is an agent facts. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that. We're delighted that dozens of companies are already working with us. We have about 15 universities that are hosting our registries. And you can have a centralized model, a DNS-like model, which is what MCP registry is doing right now. But the problem with that, once you have hundreds of thousands or even millions of these DNS agents, and if you have agents, AI agents, the DNS-like structure is not going to work. So the MCP registry mental model right now, which is just simply listing, creating a lookup table of trusted MCP agents, we don't think is very scalable. The other approach is to do a decentralized discovery where the agents are listed on some website. But the problem with that is that there's insufficient discovery. If there's an amazing website, amazing agent that's running on a website in Nigeria, it's possible that Nigerian website never gets crawled. And so that agent never gets discovered by the rest of the world. There'll be fragmentation of the metadata because every website will have a different implementation of this agent list. And of course, there are security risks of too many certifiers trying to certify which agents are secure and not. So as you'll hear from Piyush very soon, this type of fragmentation can be quite problematic. And we think this pure decentralization will actually have re-centralization risks where somebody else, a third party, will have to scrape the list of all the agents by scraping different websites and which agents are listed on those websites. This third party company will have to aggregate all the agents that are out there and serve those queries. And this re-centralization will lead to gatekeeping, rent seeking, bias prioritization, and unnecessary censorship of all the agents that are out there. And that's why the Nanda index is a lightweight central index that requests copies of local registries, but doesn't have to expose. So just like a switchboard for a company, that to talk to somebody in that company, you have to call the receptionist, and he and she will transfer you to the right employee. We think many agent stores, AI agent stores, will simply have one entry in the index without exposing all the agents. And those companies can maintain their local registry. So let's take Deloitte as an example. Piyush is on the call. So Deloitte might have exactly one entry in the index called @Deloitte. And all the agents that Deloitte runs on behalf of the banks and internal to that will not be exposed. And if Deloitte wants to expose a particular agents like @Deloitte : fraud detection, then I have to call the front desk of Deloitte, and Deloitte internally can host all those agents, behind their firewall, and so on. So we think the hybrid approach in the Nanda index is what many of our collaborators from this dozens of companies and universities have come together. So we will have demonstration of that in about 30 minutes. But before we get there, I would like to invite Piyush Agrawal from Deloitte to share his thoughts on how to use a Nanda-like framework for the future of finance.